everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Phyllis of DRC Restoration, Decor, and Designs. This is a pineapple that I purchased from Ross several years ago for about $20. And I've always wanted to try to create my own. I've seen DIYs on YouTube as well as Pinterest of how people put theirs together using different products. And I wanted to try my hand at it, and I did it a year ago using plastic utensils. And here is the one that I created about a year ago using spoons and forks and the handles from the forks. You see the base of it is covered with spoons and the top is covered with the bottom of the fork and then the handle of the fork. And this two colors, silver and copper, and the copper utensils you can purchase from Party City, but the silver utensils you can purchase from the Dollar Tree. And the base that it's holding it is the glass. So if you'd like to see how I create it, then let's get started. Now here is the glass that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. This base is smaller than the base that I used to make the copper silver pineapple. And also I took apart an old DIY and had spoons, and I used those spoons, and I'm just reusing these, and that's why they're kind of dull. The shininess of them is taken off. But then also here is the packaging that the spoons, forks, and knives come in. Again, you can get these from the Dollar Tree. Now, when you're putting this together, the spoon has to go right at the rim. I started, when I did the first one, I did it at the bottom, and noticed every time I put another spoon on top, it would pop the bottom spoon. So you have to take the spoon, put the glue at the bottom, where I'm pointing to here, and at the top, and just stick it to the glass. And this is only for the first row. You just put the glue at the tip of the spoon at the bottom, and then just put it on the glass. And here I'm showing you how I'm doing it. Okay, so here I glued it, and I'll do two more, and then I'll come back and show you the first row put together. Okay, there's again, you put the glue at the base or the neck of the spoon, and then at the very tip of the spoon, and it needs to go right at the very tip of the rim. What I should have done was probably move the spoon up a little bit higher, and you'll see further down in the video why I say this. Now here I'm showing you where the second row is going to start. It's going to be in between each of the spoons in the first row. Here is the first row completed. And right here is a bigger space than the others. All I'm going to do is take another spoon and overlap it on those two. And the glue, instead of going at the neck and the tip top, I'm going to put the glue on the sides of the spoon, because that's what's touching the other two spoons. Okay, and here I'm showing you again how I'm going to glue it on. I put it here on the neck, but it was not needed to go to the neck of the spoon. It just needs to go on the sides, the left and right side of the spoon, and then I will glue it on top of the other two spoons to just fill in that gap. Okay, and here is the first completed row. Now what I'm going to do, what I'm pointing to, I'm showing you here that I'm getting ready to do the second row, and you will lay the spoons again. From here on out, you will just have to put the glue on the right and the left side of the spoon because that's what's touching. And then if the neck of the spoon touches the glass, you'll put the glue on the neck. And I'm going to show you here now. Okay, and I just lay it in between the two spoons of the first row. I bring it down some so I can start forming the pineapple. Well, here's the second row, and I like the way it's turning out. It's coming together. I think this is going to end up being maybe like 4 or 5 rows to create. And you see I'm pointing here. This is where I'm going to do the third row. I'm going to put the spoons in between, and if you'll notice it follows the first row. So that's how you do it. Each row you're alternating the spoons and lining them up. Now I did share when I was putting the second row on that you can just put the glue on the left and right side because that's the part that is touching the spoons on the first row. Again, whatever is touching the glass, that's what you want to put glue on. So on this one, if you noticed, I put it on the sides because it's touching the spoon on the second row. But then also the bottom of that spoon that I'm creating the third row with, it is touching the glass as well. And this is the completed third row. So yes, this looks like it's going to be about 4 or 5 rows on this one. And I counted how many spoons I had left, which I found out was not enough. And that's why you'll see later on where I found 4 more spoons. 2 were the copper from the first pineapple I made, and then I found 2 white plastic spoons, and I ended up painting those a dark gray to be on the bottom row of my pineapple. Okay, so here again, I'm starting another row. This kind of resembles an artichoke. Now I'm going to take it later on and glue it to the inside of this top just to cover the bottom of it. But I'm getting ready to show you right here. I took 2 rose colored or copper colored spoons because I didn't have any more silver ones, and I painted it gray with some leftover paint that I purchased from Walmart. And then I found 2 white plastic spoons that I used my hot knife to cut off the stems, and I painted those gray as well. I'm going to put them on the bottom of the glass pineapple jar just to cover the bottom, but you will see in the video and the reveal that I will end up painting all the spoons at the bottom gray and putting little silver spoons in between each of just to make it cohesive so it doesn't look so odd. But here it is sitting in the jar, and I'm getting ready to share with you how I'm getting ready to stick the forks, which are going to be leaves, inside. I took an old styrofoam that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I cut a hole and I'm placing it in the top to fit real snug so it doesn't fall in, because again, you can't use hot glue with this, it'll melt. So I cut it to fit, and I'm going to push it in nice and snug. And when I put it in, then I will take the forks, which will be used as the leaves, and I will stick them in the top of the styrofoam. And here are the forks where I already had them cut because I used the handles in a different project. But if you look at the shape of this handle, it's like the stems of a pineapple. I use those because the knives are straight handles, so I didn't use those, but I used the forks. And I'm going to compare those to pineapples that I already have here in my home, and you can see the shape of them. Okay, here are the pineapples that I have. This one is a diffuser, or it gives off scents that I got from Walmart. This one here, the silver one, is the one that I'm
pretty much copying. But if you look at the stem, see how this fork is kind of tall and curvy like that of the gold leaf, and it kind of curls at the top a little bit, or bends at the top. Well, I used that in my very first pineapple. I won't be using them in this one because this pineapple is shorter. So I'm just going to be using these forks, and you see how they curl out like the leaf. And I'm showing you here near the next to this one. So the silver one is going to be more like what I am copying for the DIY pineapple. You see the shapes here. It's kind of like the spoon, the head of the spoon. And then again, the leaves is like the fork. So that's all I'll be using. Again, it's Dollar Tree product, so it's very inexpensive. And the top that I use to sit the vase in, it's from an old jar that I broke, but you can use candle tops. You don't even have to use a top. This is just something that I chose to do. Okay, see, I stuck a fork in. So basically that's what I'm going to be doing once I push the styrofoam inside the jar, the pineapple jar. And I'm just going to be randomly sticking them in. So I'll be showing you that here in just a minute. Okay, here I'm just pressing it down to get it leveled. I'm not pushing too hard because I don't want it to fall through. And now I'm just going to randomly stick the forks. I'm going to do them on 4 sides, basically, like say for like the clock. So I'm doing a 3, 6, 9, 12 position of the forks. And once I get those positioned in, then I'm going to stick forks in between those, and you'll see what I'm talking about here in a minute. So this is like the 3, 6, 9 position, hands on the clock. And now I'm going to stick forks in between those to kind of fill it out. And then once I do that, then I'll start sticking forks in the middle to kind of stand out in between. And here I'm just showing you where I'm going to be gluing that in the bottom, and the other spoons are still drying. So while those are drying, before I glue them to the bottom all the way around, I'm just going to work on the top of the pineapple. Okay, so you see where I'm sticking this in between these forks that I've already inserted, and that's just filling out the perimeter, the outside of the top of the pineapple. And once I do that, then I'll start sticking more forks on the inside just to fill it out. And I did the same process with the copper silver pineapple, except on the inside I used the handles to stick up and to try to be just a little higher than the forks. And again, that pineapple is bigger because it was a bigger glass vase. This is a smaller one, and that's why I'm opting just to use forks only. Now, while I'm doing this, I want to share with you the styrofoam that I used is from the Dollar Tree. I would recommend using that styrofoam. It's tougher and it's harder and it will hold better. I tried using the green foam, and that is too soft because after a while it'll start breaking into pieces. This styrofoam, it's very hard, and if you get it from the Dollar Tree, it comes 2 in a pack. So that's much better in my opinion because it stays. If you cut the piece to fit the rim of the jar, it will stay in place. And then as long as you're very careful about sticking the forks in, it won't push through. You can't force it because if you force it, you may force the styrofoam to go inside the jar and you will just have to cut another piece. But this foam is the best that I found to work. So here you see me just filling in the middle. I've already did the perimeter of the pineapple with the forks, aka leaves. And in the middle where I would usually put the stem is where I'm just filling in more pineapples. Now here, I was not thinking using the glue gun, and I should not have done that, because when I did that, I heard the crackling, and that was the melting of the styrofoam. So again, do not use hot glue with this styrofoam because it will melt. So I had to sit here and hold it for a while until that section actually hardened. And I was holding it for a little while, so no glue gun on this styrofoam. Okay, and here it is where it's all filled out. Okay, I love the way it turned out. Now what I'm pointing to right now is the styrofoam that is exposed. I'm going to use tiny little silver spoon heads. Also, you can purchase from the Dollar Tree, that I pulled off an old DIY project. And this is the project that I used. This was an old project that was a peacock, the back of a peacock. And I may attempt to try that again one day. That thing took me for a round. So I'm just pulling the little spoons off of this project to use on my pineapple. And again, you can buy these little spoons as well. They come in a little pack from the Dollar Tree. I'm taking the heads of those and I'm gluing them to the very top of the pineapple. This is where I was sharing with you that I wished I had taken the bigger spoons up higher, because if I did, I would not have had to use the spoons to cover. And here I showed you where I glued the gray spoons. I'm going to paint all the spoons at the bottom gray to give cohesiveness, and then put little spoons in between just to give it uniformity as well. And then I will glue the top, or glue the bottom of the jar to the inside of the top. And all you will see sticking up are the little silver spoons in between every other dark gray spoon. And I'm showing you here how I'm going to do that. I'm doing it at the bottom of the pineapple as well as the very top of the pineapple to cover the styrofoam. Okay, here I put the glue at the neck of the little spoon to glue it onto the big spoon. Glue is not touching the styrofoam because I don't want that to melt. And here is the completed pineapple. I liked the way it turned out. You see how the top of it is with all the little spoons and then the silver spoons at the bottom. I really like this, and this was done quickly on the fly. I was able to find everything I already had on hand, and I may create this again. I have a very pretty color one in mind that I think I'm going to recreate, and I'm already calling it a peacock pineapple because I think I'm going to go to Party City and find different color spoons that of the peacock and make a bigger pineapple, but make it very vibrant in color. And this is the first one that I created again a year ago, and this is the one that I just shared with you all. Well, I hope you got inspiration from this, and if you did, please share your creation of your pineapple. And thank you for watching.